How so?
Well, I weighed 100 pounds at the time, and I'm 6 feet, and they thought I was not long for the world.
Oh, wow.
In America, in the land of good and plenty, where nobody starves since, the Depression, they were perplexed that some human could be 100 pounds and still be ambulatory and functional.
Wow.
So they failed me, and that was freedom.
Yeah.
You
Totally.
know, because I'm a sensitive man, a poet, a writer, a thinker, a scholar. And to me, mayhem and murder and chaos and, mayhem, there's no percentage in it. It's like the fish rots from the head. If the leadership is corrupt, if they're just feeding the industrial complex and they have no simpatico for the man of the street or the woman of the street or the struggling working class or the lower class or the middle class, then the system has lost purpose with the people who make the system what it is. We the people.
We the people.
Yes.
That's
now,
right.
during the 60s, because every college student man was fodder for the military-industrial complex, and every woman liked a man, so what would the place be if there were no men for the girls? So there was a collective unity.
Wow.
So when they had protests everywhere, in every way, and the purpose was to end the war. Okay? There was no purpose that equality of 1% and 99%. It was 100%. And if you were of a certain age, you were dog food for the military-industrial complex. Now, if there was a real purpose to the war, and if they were invading Jersey or Coney Island, everyone would have been unified because we could understand that. It wouldn't be thousands of miles away on the other side of the world that we see it on the news, and it's aimless and mindless.
But what were people told about the war at that time?
They were told half-truths.
Half-truths?
Yes.
Really?
And
Half-truths? What do you mean?
in other words, that if South Vietnam falls, the communists would become more emboldened. They would become more, invigorated with their own success.
So it was basically a lot of commie propaganda.
It was propaganda. It was part of the military machine, and the military is big business.
Yes.
When they drop a bomb in the Middle East, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. These bunker buster bombs that, devastate a neighborhood and kill villains, whoever these nameless people are, the shadow army that fights against us. A lot of it is a figment of our own imagination and the war machine festers on this. I mean, a soldier has to do soldiering,
Wow.
A policeman has to maintain law and order. A politician has to, fortify his war chest so that 2 years later or 4 years later he wins again. The head, the leadership, the cabal of the Congress, the Senate, the judiciary, they're far removed from the average ordinary man who struggles to make a living from the womb to the tomb.
That's true.
Do they go hungry? Do they go sick? Do they go homeless? I think not.
Not at all.
The average wealth of a man in Congress is over $1 million. The medical care that they get, impeccable. You could be a congressman for 2 years and you get a pension for life.
Wow.
Yes, think of that.
Wow. I didn't even know that.
Well,
that's crazy.
we have to care for our leaders. But meanwhile, what about caring for our people?
That's right.
And I'm not talking about just the old people who, for years, they said, the people on Social Security, there was no inflation, so there was no cost of rising in what they got in their Social Security check. Now, anytime you go to the supermarket from day to day, there's inflation. It's a simple numerical equivalent. You don't have to be Sherlock Holmes to know that if they don't include food and fuel into the inflation index, then it doesn't seem like anything is rising.
Now, speaking about food, I hear, read, and see a lot of things about reading the nutritional facts. And
Yes.
You really got to know what's in your food, the fructose and all the sugars, and like a lot of people don't put mind to that. A lot of people just think about what tastes good.
No,
I mean,
wait.
honestly, me being one of them, sometimes, especially when I'm hungry.
You are what you eat.
Yes.
Okay, let food be your medicine and medicine be your food. Okay, if it's a chemical that you can't pronounce and you don't know what it is, you shouldn't be ingesting it. It becomes you. Okay, what you eat becomes you. What you feel emotionally is what happens to you and what you think you become. Okay, so you have to eat well because you want to be married to the doctor. You want to, at a young age, have medical problems so that as you grow old, you don't grow gracefully. You diminish.
That is true.
And first of all, there's an epidemic of what? High blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, asthma, obesity. I mean, this is choices we make or we refuse to make to enrich ourselves because we're responsible. Who could be your doctor? The doctor or you? Who knows better for you?
That's true.
In your heart, you know. You may be lazy, you may be spoiled, you may have been bred poorly so that you didn't learn. You may think because you get out of school, that's the end of education. Well, that's when education really begins. That's your life journey, and what is the route you take as you go through the 7 stages of man? From youth to young adulthood to middle age to maturity to older age. Life is a play. There's 7 acts. What do you do in each of the acts? Well, in the first act, you're malleable and you're a baby and you have to be inculcated into the society and hopefully your parents' society.
Now, you mentioned doctors before.
Yes.
And you and I have spoken on...
They like to manage disease. They don't like to cure it. They don't like to inform you what to do to avoid the disease because they're in it for the money. Like the drug companies, they'll give you a drug that has side effects. One of the side effects causes thoughts of suicide, and another side effect causes thoughts of homicide. And this is the medicine they give you. You can go to the drugstore and buy Tylenol or ibuprofen, and side effects of that says if you use it for more than 10 days, it causes liver damage. Now, you don't have to be a surgeon to know without your liver you can't live.
That's right.
That's the cleaning faculty of the internal organs.
That is true.
Okay, now we're all going to grow old. It's a chronological fact of life. Unless you die prematurely and then you never grow old, like Marilyn Monroe or James Dean or John Lennon, or, so when you see them, they're frozen in time and they're forever young. Okay, as you grow old, you either grow gracefully with wisdom and understanding, where you realize that the wisdom of the ages is yours to tap into, but you have to be curious, you have to have an investigatory mind, and you have to know that this is not all there is, and you could make more of yourself. You are more of yourself. Or you could just be lazy, be spoiled, think you've educated yourself, you got your degree, you're working, you care not for the benefit or enrichment of yourself, you're willing to blow with the breeze until you hit your head against a concrete embankment and you're in serious trouble by the time you're in middle age.
Now, what do you think happens to people once they accomplish a degree?
I think people go into a mental hibernation state. If you look around and people walking, they're all playing with their iPhones, their Tinker Toys. I mean, the mind is the greatest possession any one of us has. A mind that we could utilize, that we could build upon, that we could feed, can be both prosperous to us and inspirational to us and to anybody else that comes into our contact, our friends, our family, our loved ones, our relatives. I mean, we all have the same potential, untapped. The universe is the cosmic mind. Okay, we're connected to that cosmic mind. Okay, but you have to search and make the connection. Plug in. Plug in means you have to utilize the gift you have. Like you're a garden. You have to till yourself, and you have to
purpose the seeds of mentology, so that your mind becomes the supercomputer that you play with when you walk down the street, thinking it's going to give you the gift of eternal wisdom. I love people talking on cell phones. You could be in a post office, there's 30 people online with you, and there's 29 different conversations. Never have so many people said so much that meant so little. And they all say it loudly in a public space. So it's like competing mantras of idiocy.
Wow.
Well, listen to what people say. I only hear one side, but it's too much information to know because it tells me nothing. It takes away from the own utilization of my own thought forms. Now, mind creates the universe we reside in. We're the architects of our own life.
You are what you think about.
You are what you think. If you think positive and you build upon mind, the ability to follow through on one thought to the completion, from the beginning, the middle to the end, then you learn how to
facilitate tapping into the universe so that you can be enriched almost osmotically through the ether of the cosmos. And it's kind of, kind of spooky when I say it like that. Because most people don't realize that the ether is food. The sunset, the sounds of the birds, the waves breaking in upon the beach. If you tune into the moment,
and you're sentient and you're sensitive to these vibrations, you see the eternal beauty of the order of the universe, and you're part of that order. You're tapped into that purpose. You know, most people are oblivious to the surroundings.
So you think that all the gadgets and all the devices that
take
we
you
have,
away from who you are and your connection to nature and the universe.
Now, do you think it was always like that? Was there always,
Not
did
at
we always
all.
have distractions?
Not at all, because the Industrial Revolution happened in the latter part of the 18th century. You know,
So after the Industrial Revolution, that's where people started tapping out?
well, that's when people started to be herded.
What do you mean herded?
I mean, cultivated as worker ants. You know, a colony of bumblebees.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
so
people
that-
copying each other.
Well, monkey see, monkey do. Follow the leader, and the leader is just manipulating you to their own industrial purposes.
Now, speaking about the leader, would you say that the leader is simply the individual or the person with a new idea,
I
or
would say the leader is an empty suit.
empty suit?
Yes.
What do you mean?
The leader of a rep industrial complex. He's the front man, the spokesman. He's not the brains, and it doesn't matter.
What party it is, Republicans, Democrats, they all follow the same tracks. It's like playing ping pong. 4 years, one guy's in, 4 years, the other guy's in, 8 years, one guy's in, 8 years, the other guy's in. They do the same thing no matter what they say. Okay, because they're removed from the struggle of life and the soul to the earth person. Had they ever gone hungry? Well, maybe they did when they were toddlers. But graduating Yale or Harvard or Columbia University, I don't think that means that they've been hungry for a while. I think that people forget the struggle of life that many of us have. And the leaders, they're isolated from the truth. You know, they mean well, and a lot of them mean well, and they say the right things, and it makes you feel good, but then you watch what happens. And the action speaks louder than the word. And the deed tells you whether it's what they say or what they're not saying. It doesn't matter who the leader is. Nixon, Bush, Carter, Clinton. It doesn't matter. What has changed? The military-industrial complex grows, and middle class shrinks, and more people enter the poverty level. Today you have college graduates graduating, and they're working in McDonald's.
Why do you think that is? The one thing that I've come to notice is that we have a lot of college graduates lately that
and they're all tied up with heavy debts from the school loans that they carry around like an albatross for life, because working for minimum wage or working for $30,000 or $40,000 a year doesn't give you the ability to pay off $100,000 worth of school debt.
Now,
why do I think it is? Because there's no industry. We've it used to be colleges of higher learning and colleges to train trade schools, to train people for the kind of jobs and industry that America was known for. This was once the and most of the jobs went to China.
Globalism makes companies international. They feel no sympathetic or sympathy for Americans or for Europeans or wherever the industry used to be. They're interested in dollars and cents. If they can make an Apple computer for $30 in China, where the workers are virtually indentured,
So
why
if
should they make it here?
So you know what? Not even as a country, as a planet,
Yes.
if we were to continue to move in a direction where everything is just manufactured in one place, what do you think would happen to everyone? Well, obviously,
I think
except
we'd
for
all
China.
be poor and we'd all be skinny like me.
Wow.
You know, maybe it would be good for your health.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a positive spin on
Well,
it.
when I was young, they used to tell me being thin, I wasn't going to last to 30. Now they tell me I could live to 100.
Wow. That's funny.
Well, and nothing has changed other than I'm matured and I haven't gained a pound in 50 years.
How did you accomplish that?
I'm a bad eater. A good cook, but a bad eater. My mother trained me. She was a terrible cook and she was heavy-handed. And I never had the association or the love affair with food. It never became a source of comfort for me.
Okay.
And so food is not high on my totem pole. I eat what I need to eat to keep the engine going and to feel vigorous and invigorated. I don't overeat, and consequently, I never outgrow my wardrobe.
So you use food as fuel, not comfort.
Yes, and I'm a vegetarian, and I'm careful what I do. I don't experiment, and I don't eat dairy or cheese or meat, and you have to respect who you are and what you do to yourself. That's thought, feelings, and consumption of food.
Now, in your opinion, speaking about food, let's talk about food for the mind.
Yes. Feed your head before you feed your belly. Okay?
What's the best way of doing that?
Of course, the best way of doing that is to tap into the wisdom of the ages, the philosophers that lived before, the artists, painters, poets, literary geniuses. We live in the golden age because of technology and the printing press and computer and everything that has ever been in print is still in print. We can have access to 10,000 years of recorded history on the internet. Okay. And I believe that everybody should spend a life in thoughtful pursuit of what their real purpose is and how to enrich themselves so that they can attain it and ascend to who they really are, not who they've become.
How do you think people can discover who they really are?
I think you have to be contemplative. You have to disconnect from the Tinker Toys industrial complex. You have to spend a half hour, an hour a day in meditation and contemplation and thoughtful ideation of what it is that you want for yourself. Why do you feel you're here? What is your joy? What tickles your fancy? Okay, what would you want to be in your heart of hearts? Your secret thoughts. I don't mean what you're doing, because what you're doing is for maintenance. What you want is for your soul. And to add to what you do, everyone has an extra half hour, an hour to cultivate themselves, to take up an interest, a hobby, a pursuit, to make an avocation and a hobby a vocation and a life's purpose. Everyone has the talent. Nobody is better than anybody else. No age limits you from what you really could do or what you really could become. Okay? It's communicable. You have a mind, learn to use it. Focus. Master singular consciousness, singularity of mind, so that when you do a task, whether it's a creative task or it's a mundane task or an ordinary task or an exceptional task, you follow through to its conclusion. And you'll notice when you do a task, you'll have an inner feeling of self-satiation. Like, wow, I didn't know I could do that. You know, like, wow, that felt fantastic. You know.
No.
And
continue.
there's many things to pursue. And inevitably you break down.
Yep.
You know, because constituents of what makes you
What you do to yourself. Mind, body, and spirit. The trinity of enrichment and self-power. Your thoughts, your feelings, and your deeds. What do you think about authority figures like governors, senators, police? I think the last good president was Harry Truman. And if I recall history, he served until 1952. Okay, I think today it's big business to be in politics. And it's, you know, it's a influence. And it's hard not to be influenced. You know, look at Jersey. Politically, every 6 months they arrest all various people because payoffs or, you know, they're doing things that they shouldn't be doing, and we read about it, and then a new slate goes in, and the next year the same thing happens, and it doesn't matter. They could be the state senators, they could be in the judiciary, they could be mayors, councilmen, you know, even governors. I mean, look at the governor of Chicago, the guy that was trying to sell the Senate seat. He thought it was worth a lot of money. I thought political was to lead people so that we all rise together.
Yep.
That they serve the public, to enrich the public, and to make the society a better place for all of us.
Now, do you think that there's unity within the American public?
I think we're misinformed. We're self-centered. We're narcissistic. We're myopic. We're less than what we really are. I think that the youth is easily swayed into moronic pursuits.
Moronic pursuits?
Yeah, look at the fashion. Look at the clothes. Look at the phraseology, the words. Look at the violence between the youths. Look at the youth crime on youth. Is there a fraternity, a simpatico, or is it just self-centered, selfishness? I think there's a saying that the fish rots from the head, and if the leadership is misguided and manipulates the population, it doesn't give much hope for people who are part of the collective mindset of society. They breed us to be part of the colony. They don't breed us to be Einstein or Hemingway or Picasso, the genius of the art world, of the history of the ages. They breed us to be mundane, banal, not exceptional, not extraordinary. All them drugs to dope him down so he drools, and he sits in a shadowy world of
Give me 1 second, I apologize. American Dream? Hi, how are you? I can help. Yes. Okay, we currently have one in Woodside for 1375. Wait. Yes, 1375. Yes. That's on Woodside Avenue. Yes. I'm sorry? No. You gotta go to like Corona or something like that. I got that for $12.60. If you're looking that cheap, it's not gonna be Woodside, Jackson Heights, anything like that. No. Anyway, sorry about that. Crap, I lost my train of thought. Damn, I should have written these down.
Well, we were talking about, we were working our way towards what you could do to rise to the occasion.
Yes.
Meet yourself where you really belong. I think the first thing is to return to the self, to disconnect from the collective mindset and fortify your own mind, to rebuild yourself, to recreate yourself, to reconstitute yourself at any age. Okay, if you start young, of course, it's easy to have a longer, fortuitous life that's enriched, that gives you purpose, that you can achieve all your dreams. Because everything you want, you could have. Everything you think of, you could attain. It only requires that you surround yourself with the mantle of the dream, your vision, your hope, your fantasy, and you wear it as a cloak of reality, and you act as if you've already attained it. If you can fulfill the purpose of single-minded consciousness, then your actions will unerringly lead you to the route and roadway that's going to achieve your dream. For example, you go to the museum, you look at the paintings, they're beautiful, they inspire you, the colors, the symbols, the images. Everyone could be a painter.
That's true.
It doesn't require a college education for you to go to medical school to be a painter. Okay? It only requires the spirit and the heart of somebody who desires to be a painter, and the curiosity and the ingenious nature to follow through and to experience it. The more you experience it, the more it's perfected in you. The more you become an instrument of the work that you dream about doing, that you do because you follow through on the dream. You want to be a poet. Anybody could write poetry. You want to be a singer. Well, meet musical people, learn how to play the piano, the guitar, the drums, the harmonica. Seek alike and similar natured people who are sensitive to the same dream, who really share, don't compete, but simpatico, so that they transfer the thought and the wisdom and the beauty from one to another.
Now, what if you're in a position where you have a dream that no one else has? Well, you're trying to come
I
up
would
with
say
something.
that you're king of your own dominion. And it's a beautiful world.
Wow.
And how do you attain that?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Well, first of all, you have to flesh it out,
Mm.
like it was a script, like you were the script screenwriter, and you're writing the story of your dream and your hopes and your visions, and this is the life you want to lead.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, there's a scenario that can get you from where you are to your dream state where you wish to be.
Mm.
And that is a pursuit of enriching yourself, rewarding yourself intellectually, spiritually, and emotionally. In other words, don't kick yourself in the head. The fates of the universe is going to be cruel enough to you. Don't be your own worst enemy, be your own best friend. Follow through. Be behind yourself in everything, every thought. Be convicted of your feelings, that there's nothing else. This is what you're here for. This is what you're going to do. This is what you do, and get to do it. Don't let anything outside of yourself dissuade you from the purpose that you feel within. Let the feelings within come through you as the instrument, so you begin to form the pattern of activity and experience that will lead you to where you have to be to achieve your dream.
Now, last question.
Yes.
How do you think money molds people?
I think money is a corrupting influence.
Mm.
I think all the money in the world didn't save Frank Sinatra when he had dementia and he was dying at the age of 82. The guy was worth $1.5 billion. He would have given every dime to be you.
Wow.
To live it over again. Okay, I think money doesn't buy you love. Money doesn't buy you happiness. Money doesn't buy you health. Money doesn't buy you wisdom. Shall we go through the iconic historic figures who were young and rich and died prematurely because, you know, they were Elvis, or they were Marilyn Monroe, or they were James Dean, or even currently, take your pick, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston. Okay, Michael Jackson was worth $1 billion.
Yep.
The guy took coma drugs to go to sleep. Drugs that they give you when you have your heart taken out of your body to put you into a total coma so that you're in a death-like state.
Wow.
Okay, Whitney Houston, a cocaine addict for how many years? 25?
Yeah. 25
Okay.
years. 25 years.
The woman was talented, beautiful, gifted. Dead at the age of what, 47?
Yeah. Very
And
young.
how many drugs were in her body at the time?
Many.
Okay, and she was looking for the ultimate high. Okay, purity of mind is the ultimate high. The endomorphs and dopamines that we create ourselves in our own thought forms when we feel that inspired emotional feeling that we're part of the cosmic universe and we're in place, in purpose. Higher than any drug. No drug can compete. No computer could compete with the wisdom and the brilliance of a intelligent mind that fulfills its purpose. Because there was a man who created the machine. You know, the machine didn't create the man.
So I guess the message of the world to the world is to fulfill your purpose.
Okay. Find yourself, fulfill yourself, ascend to yourself. The power is in you. You are the power. Okay? But you have to be behind yourself. Hey, hello.
Okay. Perfect. All right. That was amazing.